I'm Matt.
And I'm Tom.
And this is the garden chair.
Yes. We got some comments about why we bleep stuff. And specifically, my use of the word stain in a previous video. See, this time I bleeped it.
Yeah.
But that time I didn't. And the reason why is because we're basically following British guidelines, I guess. Or like the standards of the TV and the community we grew up with.
Ofcom is, they're basically, in the US, it's the equivalent to the FCC. They set the laws for all broadcasting regulations and other similar things. And they have guidelines as to what swearing's allowed, when, and how you should deal with it.
Yeah.
And the basics is, it depends on context.
Yes. I mean, first of all, if you on television, if it's before 7:30 at night, it's got to be suitable for all ages.
Yeah.
Before 9 p.m, it's got to be suitable for older kids. And it's kind of this nice sliding scale that starts from, all ages at 7:30 and full-on swearing and violence at 10 p.m.
It's so viewers in the UK will know the 9 p.m. guideline as the watershed.
Yes.
Is the term for when you're allowed to start swearing from. But you can't just go straight in with a bastard at 9 p.m.
I'm going to work out which one of those I've got to bleep you for and which one of those I've got to blur you for. And we have continuity announcers in the UK still, which are the people who sit in a voiceover booth in the station and announce what's coming up next. So go.
Coming up later tonight on Channel 4, we have The Simpsons. But before that, with strong language and sexual scenes throughout, it is Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction.
I thought you were going to go for Teletubbies or something there.
Quentin Tarantino's Teletubbies.
Oh, I like that. I don't know where it would go.
Lala wielding a sword.
I was thinking like you've got Mr. Green and Mr. Pink.
Tarantino jokes.
Yeah.
Radio, it doesn't have the specific time guidelines, but generally a radio station will know who their audience is at what time. So if children are incredibly unlikely to be listening, if it's a death metal radio station in the middle of the day, they could probably get away with the odd thing.
Radio 4 quoted someone as swearing at like 8:30 in the morning, something like that, because they knew very few kids were listening to a national talk radio station talking about politics, and it was important not to bleep it because it was justified by the context of this is what a politician said. We can't need to use the words there.
Without bleep, if you bleep it, then you don't know what they said.
Yeah, which brings me back to why I bleeped stain this time and not that time.
Yeah.
It was important because it would have lost all the power, all the context if I'd removed it. Here, I'm just quoting myself. It's not important to the story.
Now you have to think about what is swearing and how do they define that? So obviously we're in the UK. We only know Ofcom's guidelines. They did a survey in the early 90s.
It's wonderful.
And they asked it's basically a census of the population as to what they thought was swearing, how bad the swearing was, whether they'd use it, whether they'd keep watching a TV programme if they saw it with it in it. And they've basically got a list of the worst swear words. There's another category of racial discrimination and...
Yeah, which are all marked more offensive than just regular swearing, which says a lot about how Britain thinks. It's a chart. It's a graph.
With saying what percentage of the respondents thought it was the most offensive, or whether it wasn't offensive, or whether it was mildly offensive. So you start off with and even at the top, there was like 3% thought the top word was only mildly offensive.
That'll be Glasgow. And they keep referring to that. Because Ofcom puts out every couple of weeks something called a broadcast bulletin.
Oh, yes.
And I remember reading these when I was on university radio, because you're in the industry to some extent. You keep up with how other people have screwed up.
And the broadcast bulletin basically has a list of all the complaints and whether they were upheld.
Yeah, basically a list of all the TV channels that have screwed up and radio channels that have screwed up over the last few. And it used to be, I remember back when I was in university, it always used to be the gambling channels, the one that would be call in and lose some money talking to someone. They were the ones. And then the adult channels started on Freeview, and there were the broadcast bulletin states in really clinical language exactly which bit of the body shouldn't have been exposed for which long and for how long and what they did to it. I said, who rings in and complains? Because it says a viewer complains that. Who rings in and complains their adult channel is being too risque? And then I realised it's their competitors. It's going to be the other ones watching the other and calling them up and dobbing them in as soon as they go a little bit too far for the regulations.
God, there's someone sat there having to watch it all going,
meanwhile,
that's the moment, let's complain.
Meanwhile, on the internet, but now it's all the international channels. The ones that are currently screwing up are the ones that are being beamed in from other countries. Because if they're broadcasting here, they've got a license, they still have to obey our rules. So all the restrictions on advertising minutage, how many minutes of ads you can have in an hour, the fact you can't mix advertising and content, they're breaking those, and that's the fashionable screw up at the minute.
And as a side, that's part of the reason the UK has less adverts on TV is because it's
required.
It's required. Yeah.
The fun screw ups are always good though. The ones where the DJ's left the mic open, the one where the guest has completely ignored the requirement not to swear.
There was one radio station where overnight someone was watching something for adults on their laptop and inexplicably put it through the speakers in the studio, through the mixing desk, and it ended up on air.
So first of all, who the hell
does that at work?
Yeah, who the hell does that at work? Who the hell does that in the studio, out of the main speakers, through the mixing desk?
That goes to air and doesn't check.
Well done, Jazz FM there. I'll try and link to that, because it's a lovely broadcast bulletin that is on exactly. It had to be Jazz FM. So that's it. That's why. So with Tech Diff starting tomorrow, new season of Citation Needed starts tomorrow.
Ooh.
Do go in. By the way, this is worth a quick diversion. When we start a new season, particularly this time, because I've just gained a whole load of subscribers off a couple of videos, there are going to be a whole load of people who go, what the
hell's this?
What was this? This is not what I signed up for. So if that is what you signed up for, please do leave a comment and a like on that. I don't generally ask for comments and likes and things, but on that one, please do, because it outweighs all the people who go,
what's this? This isn't language videos. This isn't things we didn't know.
It's coming back. It's a good run, this. If I say so myself, I've seen the edits. It's a good run, this.
He showed me one of the edits of one of the episodes, and I was laughing my ass off.
Yes, but you were laughing in sync with yourself.
It's amazing.
That's it. That's why we bleep swearing. That's why swearing continues to be bleeped in Citation Needed, because it means that the people who like the bleeps watch it, and the people who don't like the bleeps generally put up with it.
Yeah.
It's more inclusive to do that. It's not required for the joke. But if any of you ever make a gag where it's absolutely vital to keep the word I'm going to have a really hard decision on that one.
Should we say it the other way around?
What?
You say hi, I'm Matt, I say hi, I'm Tom, and you say it's reversal day.
Oh, that's a terrible idea.
Fine.